Hi, my name is Terry from Sweet Pea Papers and the Sweet Pea Papers Facebook group, and welcome to video 4 in my Temu number 4 unboxing videos series. Now, what we're going to do today is going to be a demonstration, and part of it I've never done before, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to, let me set this to the side. We have our die that we got and a piece of paper. We're actually going to, let me trim this paper down a little bit. Just to make our lives easier. Did I make it too small? No. And we're going to test out this die once we get the big shot out. So we're not going to do this right now. I'm going to set it to the side. What we're going to do is we're going to have some fun with this envelope. And I've never done a envelope decoration this way. So we're going to have a little bit of fun and see how it works out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take one of the many stencils that we got in number 4 unboxing. And I love doing the unboxings. That was the great big one that had 65 items in it, worth $200. And, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to open everything so there was no crinkling and all that noise, but I can see there are 2 things that I didn't do. We're going to use this stencil. We're going to use this stamp. Let me lay it on here so you can see it. It's got music, and I thought this sort of looked like musical notes on a staff, sort of, kind of. So going with a theme, let me throw this away. And then, let me get this one undone. Is it this side? No, it is this side. I can see it. There it is. It's under that label a little bit. There we go. Okay, there's our stamp. And it's got 2 protective pieces of plastic over it. And then we're going to take one off, and then we are going to put it back on when we get done, both of these. So we're going to set this to the side for just a second. We're going to do this stenciling first, and we're going to take our brush, and we're going to stencil just parts of it. I'm using Vintage Photo. I've already inked around the envelope, so you didn't have to watch me do that. So we're going to take some of this and we're going to stencil in a few places, not all in one spot. Just a few spots. Let me see if I can get some more ink on here. There we go. A little bit up here. We'll stencil up there. Okay, that looks good. We'll set that to the side. And we're going to take this stamp and we're going to use black, which is black soot, which isn't really a true black, believe it or not. Most people think that it is, but it's not. And this video shouldn't take very long. Oh, you know what we forgot to do is we forgot to stencil the back and the flap. So we're going to open it up, because we're going to pretend like this is going to be a freestanding envelope, something you're going to use as a clip-on in your journal and attach it with a little hidden paper clip or a little fancy paper clip. So let's go ahead and do the back side. Let's open the Vintage Photo again. Ooh, that was a bad noise. I'll try not to do that again. So let's do some spots back here. Like I said, I've already inked around the envelope, and that includes where the V is. There's ink on the stencil already, so I can't tell where I... Oh, well, that doesn't do any good, does it? Set that to the side. Try that again without the plastic on it. just going to do this in a few spots. Let's move this up here. Okay, and then we'll flip it over and we'll do some on here. This is darker in the back. It's alright. It's because we've gotten more ink on our brush. So let's not re-ink it. Let's just... Okay. Alright, that's a little crooked, but hey, we've never done it before. It's going to be closed. You won't see it against the front. You will see it against the back. But anyway, so we've got this done. Now we're going to take the black soot, which gets on your fingers and stuff, so you want to be careful to not smudge it on the rest of your project. I found this out the hard way. We're going to take our stamp, and we're not going to put it on a stamp block. We're just going to use our hands. Come on, stamp. Get off of there. These bigger ones are notoriously hard to get off the backing. I should have done all this off camera. This isn't specific to this particular stamp from Temu. It's actually pretty average. This is being a stinker though. And we're just going to, my friend Oz, my pet, has decided to bark a little bit. The neighbors are going up and down the stairs with their big dogs. They all have big dogs. Now this piece has the image on it. So you're going to want to put your stamp back on here so that the image is lined up. That way you know what stamp it is versus just looking at it and not being able to see. Of course, we're going to put the bumpy side down. We all know that. And we're going to take some of it. We're going to ink it up. You know what I should do? Let's use one of these scraps, see if it's big enough. I should stamp it off once and see how dark it is. Now, how dark is it the second time? Let's do it once and then we'll do it again. Let's just stamp some of it on here and there. And I'm just moving along fairly quickly. There's no reason to draw it out. I mean, this is all fairly simple to do. Looks like the third time is a little bit too light. We'll do it on here. Thing that's going to take the longest is probably the embossing. I have stamped before and I've stenciled before, so I've just never really done this random with the stencil, just to make an image on the. Now we're going to need to turn this back around. Oh, we've already done that. We're going to turn this back around. Let's see, which way are they? We'll put one on here. Okay. It's probably too much. But we're having fun with this stamp. Okay. Put that back there. Now I'm just going to set these two to the side, but as you can see, you do need to clean them. So we'll need to clean both of those before we use them again. If you use a stencil a second time with a different color, then the brown will mix in. It will taint it, especially if you're going to use gesso or something, some kind of a paste or anything through it. It will tint the paste, which is kind of a neat effect, and you might want to, do that. Now we're just going to take the envelope and we're going to put it inside the embossing folder. Now, I picked this envelope because I knew, let's see, that's going to make the text upside down. So we're going to put the envelope in here upside down and then close it because I knew the envelope would fit inside the embossing folder. Now, I've done projects before where the item was too big, too long to fit in the embossing folder, and because it was just a pattern, it was dots, I just turned it around and put it back in and embossed it again. The center got doubled a little bit, but if I'd have done it before, I'd have been a little bit more prepared. That's the only time I have embossed. I guess I led you to believe I hadn't embossed before, but I have once before. Let's get out. I'm going to get out the Big Shot. And when we emboss it, what it's going to do is it's going to leave a raised up pattern on the, oh, you know, I need my shim and not this, which is this, I believe. Yeah. This is too thick, and it won't fit through the machine. However, these two pieces of cardboard are not as thick, and I believe they're thick enough to make it work. Yeah. You only want to go through once, I believe. We'll find out. And I probably should have put the end that's closed in first. That's all right. Let's see what we've got. Ta-da! It embossed it in the center only, though. Oh, because that's where the shims were. I should have made the shims as wide as an embossing folder, so I know that for the future I'll go ahead and make sure to do that. But that's all right. Now, I don't know if you can see the raised up area in the center, and it did it on both sides. This side is I think what they call a debossing, so it goes indented. This side is an embossing, which sticks up. Okay, so let's do a little bit. This is kind of thin, so there's a couple of places where there's a small tear. That's my fault. Mainly because this was in the center only, I believe. I'm going to set this to the side so that we can do this. And then I'm going to move those ineffective shims. I'm going to take, I wonder, I was going to cover it though. You can highlight the embossing with ink. But what I'm thinking is it's going to cover up our stencil if we do that. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave the embossing in the center. Let me hold it up and wait for the camera to focus. And then that's going to be our envelope. I think, personally, we could put some stamps on here. We could put some washi stickers on here. Since it's an envelope, we could put a faux stamp here. There's lots of things you can do after this step, but I just wanted to show you mainly the embossing, and I put a little bit of stuff on here first. If I had embossed it first and then done this stencil, then you would have seen the embossing better in the center. Let me, now that I think about it, see if I've got a piece of paper. Now, because I still have these small shims, it's only going to, oh, maybe if I put them next to each other. Okay, let me try that and see if they're thick enough. Let's put this back. Let's put this one in here, and then I'll ink it afterwards and show you. It doesn't matter either way. Oh yeah, it fits that way. So let's put this side in first, the closed side. I'm just going to do this, well, I can't do it off camera because this is sitting on my printer. Yeah, it's not going to work very well because the shims are not very thick by themselves. So we'll have to see if it's enough that we can ink it. Oh yeah, it worked. Now you can't see it because it's on white paper, but let's take our brush and our vintage photo, and it managed to do the whole piece of paper, and then we can take our brush and then we want to kind of tap it off on something so we don't have that big dark in the center where we start, and then just lightly go over it and you can see the embossing start to appear. On the piece of paper where we've inked. I might be tapping it off too much. I'll just go over it twice. That's better. I like this section the best because it didn't do the backing, it only did the top. So let's call this example number 1, example number 2. And let's see if I can do it even lighter and just catch the text again, but do an in-between. Okay. And then we can see on this side as well. Now it's definitely going to ink the paper. But you can see where there's more ink going down into the indented area. So this is also a method that you can use. And if you're doing an invitation, or even on this after you've done all of your other stuff, you can just leave the embossing as it is. You don't need to highlight it like this. But this shows it on the camera better for you. And I know you guys are eating breakfast while you're watching this, or supper, because I'm starving. Now you see how there's that little dark spot? That's because I didn't tap it over here first. So let me show you this. So now you've got, whoops, I'm sorry. Now you've got that. You can see the indented side. This side is the raised up side. This is where you press a little bit more and you get the background and the darker on the text, or the illegible text actually. It's just something that looks like it should be readable, but it's not, or legible. And then there's the area where it just barely touched the text. And then here's the bottom, which is light, but you can still see the embossing. Okay? Okay, so those are our 2 examples. Not real happy with that one. A little too much inking. But that's okay. Like I said, never done it before. Cover it with other stuff. Do some collaging in this corner. There's no mistakes, only happy accidents, right? Okay, now the last thing that we're going to do in this video, I'm going to try to keep it at 30 minutes or less, is we're going to try out this die and make a die cut. So some people call the metal part the die cut, or both the die cut, but this is a die. This is a tool. It's a die. This is going to be the die cut that we've cut out using the tool. Okay? I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put the big one, the spacer one, the blue one, or the teal one, then a clear one. I know you can't hardly see it, but... And then we put the die with the blade side down. The flat side is the side that goes up. And you put the bumpy side down on your paper. We're gonna have some stuff we're gonna have to take out of here. We're gonna have to poke some holes. Then we put this top piece on top of our paper and our die. And this is just one piece of, this is just one piece of paper, so we should only have to run it through once. But I'm going to run it through twice for good luck. Third time's a charm, but we don't need a charm. And keep doing it until the plates are easily removed. And then pull the whole thing out. This one already cut it, so it all came apart. Here's our gate, which I know doesn't look so good right now, but this is the frame from around. It's this area that we didn't cover with this, so we can throw that away. Unless you need a frame. Hey, let me grab that back. This will make a great frame, so keep that. Who knows what kind of picture or collage you could put behind that frame. You can ink the frame. We have our die. And put that over there. I'm going to have a mess to clean up, aren't I? Well, not really a mess, but a pile of things. Now, we're just going to poke on this and see how many come out by themselves. Then on these little ones, you have to be kind of careful because they're curly cues. And you don't want to tear your curly cues. So most of the bigger ones popped right out, the long ones. A couple of the curly cue ones. Then for these, you can use a couple of different tools. You can use this pokey tool and poke them out. Let's see how that works. That seems to be working pretty well. And depending on how complicated your pattern is, which this has a lot of curly cues, you know, these little curls, this should poke right out. Now, for smaller stuff, you can actually use, if it's still stuck to the, no, once you get it out, you can use this toothbrush. And you can push them right out. You can see some of the smaller ones will come right out with the toothbrush. Like this one. The curly cues, we might be able to get them all. One of my friends told me about this. Her name is Elizabeth, and she does Technique Tuesday, which is obviously every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central, live on the Junk Journal with Joy Facebook group. And I've learned a lot from her. Might have to poke this one. Seems to be caught in just, there we go. And then we'll throw away, obviously, all these pieces. We're almost done. And then we're going to have this beautiful gate. If you're doing a project, then you might want to cut up more than one all at once. I'm not meaning putting multiple papers through, but I'm meaning, oh, look at that. Isn't that nice? Oh, I got one little piece in the corner there that I missed. And a little bitty dot right there. Very small. I didn't see it. Okay, so that's all of them. I'm going to turn it this way. See if it lays a little flatter. No. This side is smoother too. Okay, let me hold it up to the camera for you. Whoops. And that's what it looks like. I moved my camera and my setup, so I hope I didn't do everything off camera. And I think that it looks great. So I would definitely call this a success. Now, below the video, you're going to see links to Temu. You're going to see a link, a main link, that will take you to a page that has all 65 items on it that I've recommended. Okay? Now, and then if you keep scrolling, it'll just start scrolling their regular stuff. Now, there's also links to the first, I think, 12 items on the list of things that I got, so you can go directly there. There's a coupon code for 30% off if you're a first-time shopper. There is, I'm not sure what else there is. I think that's all. Then if you scroll down just a little bit on the text below the video, which I'd really appreciate it if you did, there is the Sweet Pea Papers information, a link to my Facebook group where you can publish your YouTube channels, your Etsy shops, your Instagram accounts on different days of the week. And that way you can get some exposure. Close to 2,000 members. And yeah, and I keep saying so I'm sorry about that. I I was trying not to say the word and then I turned right around and said it again. So this is the end of this video, and I will see you in the next video, and that will be just a second for you and a day for me. Okay, there we go. All right, bye-bye.